definitely think social media helps improve the game of baseball in general. Kind of piggyback off what he said about the Omaha Challenge. You got guys that are younger than us watching videos like, oh wow, like look how big, look how strong he is. Like like as a kid, like I used to always like aspire like to want to be like big. Like I always wanted to be like on the big like stage. Play division baseball. And obviously I'm here now, but like as a kid, I was always watching, like looking up to people like that. So to be able to like scroll like on Instagram, like look at guys like my age that are doing it now, it's pretty cool. So I definitely think that it has definitely helped bring the baseball community all together, and has definitely popularized baseball in general.
Yeah, I mean, I think as long as it's utilized in the right ways, because I think also like going back to the beginning when we were talking about the Red Solo Cup and stuff, there could be negative effects. I mean, if you're putting like not necessarily a red solo cup on your baseball account, but if you're putting the wrong information on there, it could be misleading to other people.
Just go off that. The second scenario I want to go over is you're in class and you're supposed to have practice at 3. You practice at 3 every single day, and you get a message on that we use Teamworks at 2:55 saying practice is canceled, practice is changed, it's moved to later, it's moved up, like stuff like that. Do you think that's more a good thing that's happening, or do you think that's a thing that negatively affects things because it gives people more leniency, makes things up in the air all the time, make people more anxious about practice could get canceled at any moment, instead like before all this media stuff, 3 o'clock was 3 o'clock, and you found out then or there if you had practice or not. There's no stuff like that.
I feel like, you like using Teamworks. I mean, it's definitely I think the best platform you can use to get the word out to your players like that. I think genuinely it's kind of like a thing where if you figure out no matter what time you figure out if you have practice or not, I think if you figure it out over a Teamworks message, then when you get to practice, it definitely benefits you as a student more. So you you'll get there and practice canceled. You kind of can set your day off of that. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think Teamworks is also very helpful. You get all it takes is your thumbs. You just gotta twiddle your thumbs and boom, you got a message to your whole team already. It definitely helps. Like you mentioned back then, their communication wasn't how it is now with technology. It was always like you find out there like practice time, like if your practice is canceled, they're like, you guys like moved it back or something. It was never more so just like a text sent to like a mass text message. So Teamwork is definitely pretty clutch, and it's big.
Yeah, I mean, I going off what they said. I agree. I think that it can be used like for things like even like events and stuff. Like if you're like looking at maybe like, for example, like COVID testing. Like this year, COVID obviously like is still a thing going on, and like you got to make sure you get tested. And sometimes guys might forget, so coach can just send out a quick message and be like, make sure you get tested today. So like that communication aspect with media, I think, is also important.
We just got one last question for you guys before we wrap this all up.
Yeah, that's one real quick. So, going based off of that, we had a question: how does media affect the way we communicate with each other? But we kind of just answered that. So, I mean, you guys are elaborating very well on things that we haven't even asked about yet.
Yeah. So,
I mean, it just goes to show that the media, the effects of social media can really benefit in a positive way and sometimes in a negative way, but obviously, as we've been talking about, it's been very positive so far.
Seems like the positive might outweigh the negatives.
100%.
Yep. Just another question here. We were talking about the Red Solo Cups and then posting certain things. Have you guys ever experienced getting in trouble for posting something on social media or someone just bringing it up to you?
I haven't. I mean, before I usually post things, I make sure it's like if my coach is on Instagram and look at it, I'll make sure he'll not call me like what's that, or I make sure I represent what I do in my school well. So I mean, I'm not gonna post anything that will like put me or my teammates in a predicament where there's
No, I've never been caught up. I always give like everything I post. I always give it a quick check. I'll never post pictures like a solo cup, beer in my hand, anything of that sort. Like Alex said, I try to represent myself as well as I can, and not only that, but I also represent a team and also a school. So I can't make my school and my team look bad by posting some stuff like that. So I always like I said earlier, you know, I always give it a quick check before I post.
Yeah, I mean, I've never put anything bad on there either. I know that like I've had people trying to like keep me in check, like on Twitter and stuff. Sometimes I'll be like liking things that are like controversial, and people are like, "Oh, this just showed up on my feed. Like, why are you liking that?" So like I gotta keep myself in check, but I've never been, you know, called out for anything.
Okay, so just one more question. This is a very important one, I think. Do you think like tweets and Instagram posts that people think like are in a relationship scenario or some sort, do you think that affects the way people interact with each other in terms of a relationship? If they saw a certain tweet or something like that, do you think that affects them in their relationship, or do they use those tweets, you know, for person?
I kind of think, for example, you have a girlfriend, if you have a girlfriend or something like that, and you tweet out like, dang, I miss single life or something like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have a girlfriend, she'll probably see that and be upset with you, and probably act like differently towards you. You know what I'm saying? So it's, and like, although you might not admit it that way, you might just been thinking about it, but like, I mean, like, I think it's, people take, you know, things you post and you might say and definitely like go the extra mile and, you know, blow out proportion. So I think, yeah, like people do, you know, make their own version of what they think.
I mean, in my opinion, I've never been the kind of guy to really post a girl, tweet about a girl. So, I'm in my opinion, it's better, you know, just keep anything like on the private, like on the down low. You got a girl, just keep it on the down low. That, you know, like not everybody needs to know about it. Like keep it a private between you and her, and not really everybody else. So that's just my opinion on social media and showing off a girl like that.
Yeah, I think it's just about being careful, because like sometimes you can put things out there and some people might not like it and some people might. So like, you just gotta be careful what you're putting on there.
Exactly.
Well, I appreciate you guys. You got anything else, Anders?
Yeah, so we're kind of wrap everything up here. We had a couple questions about, you know, the continuation of how you reflect on this concept and the discussion we've had. So, will you use what we discussed today to be more careful or courteous of how you interact on social media?
What's good? I'm sorry.
Will you use what we discussed today to be more courteous or careful of how you interact with social media?
Oh yeah. After this discussion, I definitely think, you know, my eyes are more open and like I'm more aware of, you know, things before I post, before I tweet, before I text, whatever, because I know like what you're posting on the internet always, you know, it'll always be there. So, you know, yeah.
No, I could agree after this discussion. I was always like the kind of guy that always like, you know, just like check my stuff before I post it. But now I'm just gonna be going, you know, like always probably just think about this discussion in the back of my head, and it opened my eyes a little clear, and I understand.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of good points made. So like, you know, I'll be careful in the future and like what you're doing and stuff. So I agree.
So, I appreciate you guys talking to us today, and